groups of crystalline entities, and they're kind of the de facto leaders of the Alliance. And fighting with one ship here. Yes. See, I'm playing on the lowest difficulty, which means that they're not going to use their specials. So let's turn that up a little bit here. Let's weak cyborg. Let's turn this guy up to awesome cyborg and see what he does to me.
Device is not available.
All right. And he's launching a bunch of fighters at me, and I'm about to die. And I can't do anything because the Mycon ship sucks, and I'm dead.
You are dead.
I'm dead.
You are the worst player ever.
I am the worst player ever, but you get to watch and enjoy my worst playing.
I don't even slightly enjoy watching you play this
Why
game.
not? This is a great game. There goes the Zotpod pick. He's dead.
So, moral of the
Let's
story,
get
Phil
another
sucks
one.
at the game that he thinks is the best game of all
No,
time.
it's going to be great. Watch. Okay, now I'm the Pakunk, and the Pakunk's special ability is to regain the energy that they lost by insulting their enemies. So I'm going to... all right, so welcome to the stream, guys. This is the stream where we talk about Neverwinter Nights, Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, Planescape Torment, and Siege of Dragonspear as well. Did I miss any? Baldur's Gate 2? That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. We got a lot of games that...
We have done many
we've
works.
done. So welcome to the stream, guys. We have a crapload of news for you today, as well as a bunch of interesting stories and things to do. Somebody left a package on this desk. It says, "Dear Phil, Happy St. Patrick's Day." I don't know who left it here or what is inside of this package, so we all get to discover something today.
It was probably something really fragile, and you probably broke it.
We'll see.
Again.
All right, guys. So first off, we got a bunch of Beamdog news to go over.
So since last stream, we have, well, Siege of Dragonspear is up and selling.
That's right.
And doing well. We did a sale on Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, and it made it actually to number 2 in Google Play.
Because
everyone, number 2 game.
They're like, hey, I got to get my character, play through BG, then go to Siege, you know.
It was cool.
You got to get the full experience. So I see BG2 getting a big bump as soon as everyone finishes Siege.
BG2 is currently on sale.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Maybe people should go buy it.
It's on...
this is a mobile sale, though. It's on Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Yep. On Google Play, it's 75% off. And because the App Store doesn't let us do 75% off, it is at price tier 3, which is basically $3 US.
All right, what else we got?
Price tier 3. Long live price tier 3.
Ooh, this is a good one. We want to give a big shout out to one Holly Conrad for her brand new D&D show on the D&D channel called Trapped in the Birdcage, where she's leading a group of intrepid adventurers through a planescape adventure.
That sounds cool.
It's really, really cool. Go watch it. It's on the D&D channel. It's a lot of fun. I think they're episode 3 now. Although Holly was recently sick, unfortunately, so she missed the last stream. But
that's unfortunate.
Get better soon. I want to see more episodes. It's a lot of fun. Go check it out.
Holly's wonderful peeps. So
Holly is wonderful people. We like Holly. She's cool.
So PST Enhanced Edition is up on Twitch.
Yes.
You can actually buy the game through Twitch.
Yeah, I didn't actually know that Twitch had a distribution client until a few months ago.
Now you know.
Now you know. So Twitch has an app that you can get, and in addition to letting you like stream things and manage your account, you can actually buy and download games through it. So we thought, hey, PST would be a great first test for that. So it's up there now.
PST.
After the 2.5 patch is out for the rest of the games, we're probably going to put the rest of the Infinity Engine games on there.
We'll propagate the rest.
Yeah.
So we've got a story in this month's Dragon Plus.
Oh, yeah.
It is a story about Dorn, the most wonderful character ever made.
It's about his sword. I actually named that sword. Dave Gross wrote the story. This was way, way back in the day when we were just initially starting the expanded content. And so we were trying to come up with names for the sword, and we couldn't come up with anything good. We were trying stuff like Discipline or like Iron Will. And in the end, I was like, what about Rancor? That's kind of a fun word, so that one stuck. A lot of the names around Dorn's quest are references to things. So if you play through Dorn's first quest in Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, half of the names of the characters involved in his plots are taken from the Black Company series of books. So like Senjak, Dorothea. Yeah, there's a lot of fantasy references.
Black Company was brilliant.
I really love. Trent actually turned me on to the Black Company series of books. It's like this medieval mercenary company in this kind of interesting fantasy world by Glenn Cook. And I really loved it. It gets super weird in the second half of books, like they go to a different part of the world.
First half is way better. Croker is awesome.
I still enjoyed the second half. I thought it had a beautiful ending, but apparently another book is coming.
Really?
A Pitiless Reign, I think, is the one he's working on.
Crazy.
And cool stuff. So if you like fantasy books, go check out the Black Company.
I'm actually reading the Sanderson stuff right now.
Really? Which one?
The Oathbringer.
Oh.
That's some heavy stuff. I was like, hey, I need a quick book I can read while I'm on the plane. Oh, I haven't read Brandon Sanderson. Oh, I'll buy that. You know what? I'll just buy all 3 books, expecting like 300-400 pages. And they were like 1,000-page punch in the face. I'm like, oh, God. This is really good, and I'm hurting. I just want to keep reading it.
I'm in the middle of Shadow and Claw right now, which is a collection of Shadow of the Torturer and Claw of the Consolator. And it's a fun fantasy story. I think there's 2 more books in this series. It's kind of like this road trip fantasy story. Yep. Very similar to Jack Vance's Dying Earth stories.
So I'm coming to the realization that people probably don't care much about what we're reading.
Hey, man.
Another thing we've done is we've got the upgrade discount coupon on Neverwinter Enhanced Edition.
Yes.
To the Digital Deluxe. So if you bought the original version and you want the Digital Deluxe, there is now an upgrade path on the Beamdog store.
There you go. As well, I was recently on Dragon Plus talking about Siege of Dragonspear. If you'd like to see the video, it's on the D&D YouTube channel. John File and I'm extremely sorry to the third individual on the stream because I can't remember his name, talk about Siege of Dragonspear, and it was a lot of fun. So if you're curious about some of the development stories of that game.
So Phil, John, and Rando.
I'm sorry. He's watching right now, and his heart is just...
I am not memorable. This is so sad.
All right, a little bit more news before we get into Neverwinter Chat, and I guess we should open this at some point.
You should open it. It's got nothing to do with me. It doesn't say Dear Phil and Trent. It just says Dear Phil. So it's all you.
We've got some exciting Neverwinter stuff, though.
So we officially announced Neverwinter was releasing on March 27th.
Yay, March 27th.
One of the big things we want to talk about is exactly what is shipping on the 27th. So the HD-ish content we've been playing with, that is us just playing with it. We haven't got a master plan. We haven't figured it all out. We're really kind of reaching in and seeing what the engine's capable of and what we can do and how we can build the new content. We've posted it up in Steam Workshop so people can grab it and download it. But when it ships on the 27th, it will not be HD'd. It will have the regular content, but with the shaders and the post-product, the post-effects. So...
yeah, so the plan is the workshop is where we're going to be dropping all this stuff, so it'll be optional, essentially. You don't have to receive all these HD updates when we
anything we put to workshop will also give you an alternative way to get it if you bought it off Beamdog or another platform.
So things will improve and change as time goes on, but on the 27th, it's the game you know and love presented in the best way possible. Yeah,
so big things to focus on for Neverwinter launch, the improved display, 2K, 4K support. We're giving the UI some additional love there. The advanced graphics, basically all this full screen post-processing stuff. The backwards compatibility, so it works with existing save games, existing modules. The matchmaking, restoring the master server, and making it work with Steam and Steam's friends lists and all of those wonderful, wonderful things.
That's actually my favorite feature because now I don't have to dick around with my firewall anymore.
That's because you were the guy who ran around saying, I want it to work on Steam, make it work on Steam.
And I got my wish, just like I got my workshop wish.
So sometimes the whiny guys win.
That's right.
Yep. The other thing is we opened it up for modding, so we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue working on toolset quality of life, adding more shaders, filters, more kind of graphical options, and really just opening it up to make it easier for people to make amazing mod stuff. And we're going to continue rolling forward on working on new content, but we're going to really target that around the new content that we're planning on releasing down the road. So that's kind of the context that we're putting it in.
Actually, there's some exciting news about the toolset today, but we'll get into that later.
We'll get into that later. So we've done some changes on the Trello boards. Do you want to go to the Trello boards?
Let's go to the Trello board.
So TrueType fonts has moved from long-term active, greater than 3 months, to greater than 3 months away from needs more discussion. So it is now active. It's just going to be a longer burn. We've also, the open up premium modules for module editing building is moved to short-term active from the input board so people can actually mod it. Add the ability to have fourth class and fixed parry. Both have been moved to Icebox. We just don't have a good strategy on how to deal with those right now, and there's so many other things in flux, we just want to park them for a bit.
Yeah, we do want to fix that parrying, me especially, because it bothers the hell out of me, but there's actually several things in front of that we'll need to fix up first.
Yeah, and then as well, we're going to be working with the Toolset user interface upgrades. They've been moved to need more discussion from the input board.
Yeah, we're looking for, I think, specific UI changes at this point, because up till now, a lot of the suggestions have been, hey, just overhaul the whole thing. So now we're at the point where we need some specific tickets for people to work on, so we need to get a better picture of that.
Yeah, there's some concepts around moving away from kind of its modular nature, and its mode-based system that it currently is. I'm a little worried. I don't want to go too far because I think that's part of what makes it useful for people.
Is that it's very straightforward.
It's straightforward. It does what you kind of expect it to do. You can focus on one thing at the one time.
And I think, so we chatted about this a bit in previous streams, but like I think that was the difference between the Neverwinter 1 toolset and the Neverwinter 2 toolset, is that, well, the second one might have let you do more things. It was also less friendly in a lot of ways. And it discouraged people who otherwise might have stuck with it for a little while.
Neverwinter toolset got you in there and got you working on stuff.
I think that's the barrier that you really want to clear, is make someone feel accomplished, and then later they can get into the more advanced stuff.
Yep. We've still working on a couple things. One of them is the GPU, the Intel GPU related performance, especially on Mac. Yes, your Mac fans spool up hard.
So on my Mac, if I have a MacBook Pro and it's got an Intel Iris 550 piece of garbage, sorry Intel, I didn't say that.
Yes, actually you did.
And I can hit 60 FPS at the native desktop resolution, but if I turn a lot of the frame buffer effects off, so we know where the slowdowns are and we know how we can fix them up, but it's just a long road that we're going to have to take.
Yep.
The 550 is, it's sure a GPU.
Yep.
Moving on.
We're also looking into Intel-related GPU crashes on Windows. You sense a theme here? Intel GPU equals
So when Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition first released, that was actually the biggest crash issue we were running into, was the Intel graphics chipsets, because they did not implement OpenGL in the way that we, or everyone would expect.
Yeah, their OpenGL drivers had concerns with the way we build stuff.
So yeah, that's kind of the major stuff that's going on in Trello right now. Other critical information, which mage kit do you think gives the best hickeys, Trent?
That is a good question, Phil.
It is, of course, the Necromancer.
Wow. That hurt, Phil.
Other piece of news, what do you call a bard with a lot of hit points?
I have no idea.
He would, of course, be a con artist. Thank you, Niv, for these jokes.
Niv. Oh,
I don't write it.
It hurts.
You can't send an email to me.
Regression-wise, Wine should now work on the toolset. The toolset should work on Wine again, is the right way to say it.
Wine. Wine, of course, stands for Wine is not an emulator.
Yeah.
Which is a recursive thing. It's very funny. Open source humor is its own brand of humor.
Mahahaha.
The Toolset script compiler no longer crashes when attempting to include a missing script.
You gotta love little things like that. We've got literally like 2 pages worth of stuff we gotta go over.
Don't zoom in enhance, because I wrote some stuff on
here.
Yeah. Toolset now defaults to the Neverwinter Nights user directory when importing or exporting ERFs. ERFs. Welcome to ERF. We're trying to make it both a good Windows citizen and also not break how it used to behave, so we're kind of walking a fine line here. Over the years, Microsoft said, hey, stop putting things in the program files directory, because that's for the program's files, not your user content.
And hey, let's just spontaneously make that read-only, or require administrator privileges, which caused a whole bunch of stuff to just blow up.
Now, to be fair, that change happened a decade ago. But still, legacy software takes a long time to catch up.
Dude, I'm fighting that issue with the MaxScript exporter. I haven't looked at MaxScript in a decade, and
I've seen you peeking at it again, and I see the scowling coming from your desk.
It hurts. It hurts.
What else we got? The camera bounds are now configurable in the INI. So we've unlocked how far in and out the camera can go. So you can break the game quite easily with this thing, but it also lets you do fun stuff like kind of a quasi first-person mode. So we're going to keep unlocking things like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of bug fixes. I think we'll just kind of skip over them. One of the big things, skybox position's now centered on the character. So skybox warping will no longer be apparent when you're in the edge of large maps.
But it really made you feel like you were the center of the universe.
Well, now you are the center of the universe. The skybox is about you.
Normal map, static lighting no longer causes lighting to be black on some static geometry. So that was a big graphical issue of things. Just, hey, beautiful scenes. Why is this thing in pitch black?
I'm going to segue into something on that.
Do it. Go.
Speaking of black, so last stream I talked about making Canister Damascus. What I have in my hand here is a piece of Canister Damascus.
It's modeled.
So this is what comes out. Let's see if Dan can give us the camera and I can hold it up. This is what comes out of a canister. This is a piece of steel. It's a combination of 52-100 ball bearings, about a 1/4 inch in size, and 1095 powdered steel. So it's pretty cool. But this doesn't look very interesting. So this is a knife made out of that exact stuff. So the knife, the pattern's called snakeskin.
Because it looks like a snake.
It looks like a snake. So I'll see if I can get the hand of Dan to hold that up in front of the camera, and you can see how it looks.
Folks, this is real snakeskin. You can't buy this.
It's like steel snakeskin. So the neat thing about that pattern is the black is the ball bearings, and they're kind of squashed out. So it's actually pretty cool. I didn't like it when I first made it, but now it's starting to grow on me.
Is it sharp yet?
No, this one. So you see how the edge looks a little sharp in terms of color?
A little bit of grinding.
That's actually, no, I painted on that with.
You painted on that.
I painted that with nail polish to protect it in the edge.
And to make it look pretty. I did that joke last time. Damn it. Is that one sharp?
No. This one is it's a nice thin little bowie. It's cute, but it's a multi-layer. This one's probably in the 160 layer count.
That's really more of a hucking knife. That's something you put into somebody's back from about 50 yards away.
You could do that if you were inclined to murder, which is bad. Bad, Phil.
You heard it here first, folks.
Murder
is bad.
Bad.
I can smell the... So we have a chocolatier living downstairs, Francois Leroy. He just opened a fine chocolatier place in Edmonton. And when he starts cooking milk, we can smell it up here.
Yep.
It smells like pasta.
He's barbecuing in the back alley again.
Chocolate.
Because we overlook a back alley. Probably one of the sketchiest back alleys in Edmonton.
All right, so we went over a bunch of bugs for Neverwinter. There's more fixes coming in this update for this week, so go check out the patch notes.
Oh, God, there's so much stuff.
There's more to go over. We have new features, but before we get into the features, I think people are just dying to know what is in this
What's in your package?
I was going to use the knife to open it, but it's not sharp, so I'll just have to use my
it's a question
caveman-like hands. Oh, my God.
It's not sharp, but it's still stabby.
I'm going to end up with like 8 hats. Each one fluffier than the last. This is beautiful. Thank you, whoever sent this.
This is a green shirt that has what on it?
A dog with reindeer antlers.
A dog with reindeer antlers.
I'm just going to
St. Patrick's Day.
I'm going to pretend to wear this. It's perfect. This is great.
Is there a headless
dog? I can't see what it looks like, but the green screen is awesome.
Is there a headless Phil with a floating dog?
I'm going to wait about 20 seconds for the stream to catch up because I really want to see this.
So feature-wise, game and server binaries now error out if the data files can't be found. So that's kind of cool. That's weird, Phil. It doesn't look green at all. It looks kind of bluish.
I'm camouflaged here.
You are semi-camo.
There.
It's not brilliant camo. It's just semi-camo. Console open close key can now be typed into the game chat bar, so it no longer kicks automatically to the console. So if you're trying to get into the console and it's frustrating you, you're in chat. Hit enter and chat and go back and you can get into the console. We fixed some further mem leaks in the toolset. Toolset script editor now accepts Cyrillic and non-ASCII input. Toolset script compiler identifier limit has been bumped from 8K to 64K. Or sorry, 16K from 8K. The error you saw was identifier list full for some very complex scripts. That should go away. Toolset area editor improvements. Don't move selected objects on single click. Open object property dialogues on double click. Support for undo redo operations on object move actions. The toolset keeps variables on triggers and encounters when repainting their polygon, which is a big one, because if you've ever made traps, that is a pain in the butt. And Steam Workshop now supports tags. If you create a tags.txt file in your project root, it'll contain the tag. You put the tags in there you want to assign your upload, and one per line, and it will track them.
So, for example, if you wanted to tag your module with Killing Me, because that is a new and upcoming genre of Neverwinter module.
Kill Phil.
Killing Phil. That would be a good thing to tag
That's like
with.
Kill Bill, only not as good.
Exactly. It's not as good.
Oh, we got a lot of questions piling up because we're too busy cotton our own little stuff.
Are there going to be Neverwinter shirts for sales? I'd give my left kidney to get one. Unfortunately, we only take right kidneys, so you're out of luck.
Actually, we can't currently sell them. What we can do is just give them away on a promotional basis.
Yeah,
that is kind of the thing that we do.
Question from the audience: do we have to download the graphical HD content off of Steam, and will it work with the Beamdog client also? So you can copy the content over to wherever you want. As of right now, we don't have a path in the Beamdog client to get this content, but what will likely happen is we're going to set up like a little expansion product that contains all of the stuff that we're putting in the workshop, and so you'll be able to get it on Beamdog.
Yep.
As well, there's nothing stopping you from, say, putting it up on the Vault or something like that, which still is a valid way to get your content. Question from the audience: how about allowing more advanced features like in the Neverwinter Nights toolset, but making them optional?
Neverwinter Nights 2
Yes, sorry, the Neverwinter Nights 2 toolset. So one of the biggest immediately visible features they added was height map terrain.
Yeah, and that's a no.
I think overall we're going to add more advanced features, absolutely, but we're still not going to break the user path of that, very friendly wizard that guides you through creating your first module. It's later, once you've delved into the editor, yes, there will be more advanced features as we go. What's the progress on porting the 1.69 NWN X plugin functionality into EE? Oh, this is a good one. We actually have the guy that made that plugin working for us.
We have a couple people that are involved in that.
They're
steadily working away on it. What's actually happened is a lot of the NWN X stuff is actually moving into kind of the core engine. Yeah. So it's really kind of rethinking how those things work, and rather than NWN X being this add-on thing that requires things to remain fairly static, we've integrated pretty tight with the team. So we're trying to make it so when we release new builds, we're not blowing up the NWN X, because there are some things that just make sense in that kind of context, in that framework, and there are things that make sense we should just put them in core game. And it seems like a lot of things lately are kind of falling more on the why don't we just put that in the game kind of side.
After 15 years of people using this non-stop, it seems like it should just be part of the game. Are we going to be bringing any shirts to GDC?
So GDC this year is just Cam and I, and we will be bringing the shirts that we wear.
So if you want a Neverwinter shirt, you have to wrestle him to the ground and get it off of him.
And take it off my
That's the challenge.
Cold dead corpse.
Nobody's going to call the cops. This is just between you and Trent, but you got to pin him.
Yeah.
And until you do, both Festivus and GDC do not end.
Festivus and GDC, I see.
Is your careers page still up to date? The web dev position says it needs to be submitted by the end of February. So we actually have some listings that we've changed, and we've added some new listings.
We've also hired some peeps.
Yeah.
We got some new people joining the studio.
And as I think we mentioned in an earlier stream, those positions weren't for a single person, they're for several people. So we got all of the applications we needed by the end of February, but now we're extending it a little further. We do have a new end date for those positions, though, so it is going to be coming to a conclusion eventually.
Yep.
We're actually staffing up pretty good now. We're still on the hunt for strong C++ programmers. What we're really looking for are people who are comfortable working with like the Neverwinter Nights core engine. And there's a lot of programmers out there who are excellent in Unity and Unreal, but when working with Neverwinter, you don't have a lot of the niceties that those engines give you.
Neverwinter is C++.
Yeah,
and you got to be not old school C++, but you got to be comfortable jumping around and chopping stuff, and you got to know how to manage your own memory.
So it's a little bit like going back in time, and it's a different kind of challenge, but it's kind of cool. I mean, I've seen the source code; it's very, very interesting stuff.
It's perhaps overly organized in some respects.
But that was a direct response to the Infinity engine.
Yeah, so everything that was bad in Infinity, Neverwinter went so far the other way on the pendulum that it's kind of ridiculous. So it was kind of the standard at the time, the BioWare pendulum. Here's a question. Can you explain a little more about the get event script, set event script work? No, I actually don't have any clue on how those work. I am sitting at 10,000 feet, and that's probably at about 10 feet off the ground.
I can go to some depth on these. The first one gets the event script. Now, the second one is different. The second one behaves in a way that sets the event script.
Philip Degel, adding value.
Developer.
We'll push some documentation up. We'll probably see if we can put some stuff up on the forum to help people with that. It's going to be a little. It'll take a bit. You're losing your awesome there, Phil.
We have a question about
any date for the next BG patch 2.5.
Yes.
You've been waiting for months now. You've been waiting for months. Well, we've been working for months.
Right.
And months and months and months. So
I don't have a specific date to give you, but we're in the last few weeks here. So right now we're pushing out a bunch of localization updates to the beta just to test out these languages. And then after that round of loc updates, then we'll probably start doing the final 2.5 updates.
I think a rule of thumb is studio-wide, we're going to focus in on one thing at a time. Neverwinter launching on the 27th is really kind of a focus on that. And there was a question about why we were launching on the 27th. It seems kind of rushed. We don't think so. We think we've actually been holding off on launching it to get it pretty stable. We think the Neverwinter experience is actually a really good experience, and we're anxious to let people in and be playing it in other than a kind of a early access or head start program. Yeah. So kicking it live and really growing the audience so that we can get more feedback, we can have more people testing things, more people playing it, and just thinking about strategically where we want to take this and how we can go with it.
Question from the audience, a guy working on rigging and skinning. Could there ever be a dev kit in the future? Just some skeletons and simple skins for a template that would make modders' lives much, much easier.
Yeah, I think we can totally do something like that.
I think that's kind of the plan, is we have to nail down what the ideal is, and then once we have that template, the plan is to put it in your hands because you guys are the ones that are going to want to create your content.
And I think the big thing there is really we don't want to break the way things were previously done, but at the same time we want to be able to unlock better ways of doing things coming forward. So it's going to be a little convoluted.
That's kind of the challenge of, like, if we were going to take Neverwinter and just let's just make an all new game with the Neverwinter code and assets, that's one thing. But we're creating Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition. We're not creating new game : something.
Yeah, like one of our directives is don't break anything. Yeah. Don't break that which already exists. So because of that, we're working pretty hard trying to keep all previous modules, all save games, everything functional while we stamp it forward.
Yeah. So the ideal is that, like, everything about the original game is pristine and you can go back to that exact experience. Because we learned a lot of lessons with the Infinity Engine enhanced editions, and people love enhancements and upgrades and visual improvements. They go nuts for them. But there's also a huge contingent of people who are like, just give me the original experience in the best possible way imaginable.
Yep. So here's a question. Can I buy you guys a beer at GDC? Actually, you can buy us 10 beers.
You can buy me a beer whenever you want.
Cameron and I will be down at GDC. We'll be just running from meeting to meeting to meeting. And Cameron is he's an accomplished drinker.
Let's just say that he's got a travel beer bong.
Yeah, he is skilled. He will drink all of your beers. So maybe.
Question regarding the prices on Steam for the individual premium modules. At present, they're currently listed with a price of not applicable. What is the price going to be, Trent?
I don't know.
I don't remember either.
I don't remember the strategy. I haven't dug into that one for a bit.
It's going to be a few bucks.
I've been looking at MaxScript, and as a result, my world has shrunk.
We'll get Lee to come in with the price in a second here. Question from the audience: will we get more weapon VFX so we don't have to override existing ones? So I guess they're looking for more categories of weapon VFX. Should they get more weapon VFX, Trent?
I like the concept. I like the idea of doing that. But I'm not exactly sure what more we would add.
Well, just more variety, I guess, is what they're after. And as well, more categories means that they can include whatever they want. So if some dude wants to add lightsabers to the game, by which I mean beam swords, not lightsabers TM.
Sabers of light.
Yeah. Then they could just add the sound and not have to replace the main sword sound or something.
I mean, ultimately, we're going to open things up, and we're going to provide content for the stuff that we're trying to do in Neverwinter. We're not going to make content for Sabers of Light or any of those things. But I think opening it up is one of the things we can do.
A lot of the questions are like, hey, can we do X? And the answer is always going to be like, we can do it, and it's something we're interested in doing, but it's just going to get added onto that giant list.
The right answer is you can do it, and we'll enable you to do it. But Dan is giving us
Nights, Tony Robbins edition.
Dan is giving us the, hey, you should give away a T-shirts time.
Should we give away a T-shirt? What kind of T-shirt should we give away?
We should give away a Neverwinter T-shirt, of course.
T-shirt?
Because
that guy was begging for one.
So T-shirt goes to DPG.
DPG?
DPG.
Question for the audience. Any news on Icewind Dale 2?
The code has disappeared into the Netherverse, and we have no progress on finding it.
Still haven't found it. We reached out to a few more people, and they're like, I don't know, maybe I got it myself.
Cam theorizes he knows where it is, but it's going to take a commando raid to get it back.
Hey, I theoretically know where all the gold in Fort Knox is.
But it'll take a commando raid to liberate it.
Yeah.
Who's in on that?
Question from the audience. Is there any chance for a Knights of the Old Republic Enhanced Edition in the same way that Aspire Media did with KOTOR 2? High-resolution achievements, controllers, blah, blah, blah. The game uses a dumbed-down Star Wars D20 rule set and the Odyssey engine, which is the next iteration of Aurora, if I'm correct. You are correct, actually. So Odyssey was the successor to Aurora. They took Aurora, stepped it forward.
Yes.
And they made KOTOR.
The answer is no, not by us.
Yeah.
Aspire Media has the rights to it, so... Or I'm not sure if Aspire has it or if there might be another company that has the rights to it. I forget his name.
It's confusing.
It's the guys who ported it to iOS. I mean, they've already...
That was Aspire.
That was Aspire?
Yeah.
So, if anybody's got the rights to it, it's them.
I think Aspire used to be called Sedega or or maybe that was
I don't think so.
I just remember them from way back in the day.
Here's a comment. So EE got rid of the gamma slider, and as a result, some things got very, very dark. Is there going to be a way to brighten things up? I like very, very dark. I'm a big fan of very, very dark. We got rid of the gamma slider because that actually isn't supported natively, kind of in later versions of OpenGL. They kind of realized it's a pretty heavyweight feature. It's something we can kind of take a peek at. And again, if it's on the input Trello board, it's looked at. If it's not on the input Trello board, it doesn't exist.
Will our old current overrides still be able to work with the enhanced edition?
Will our old current overrides?
Our old override files. Theoretically, yes. The plan with the enhanced editions is that everything that you were able to do in the originals should still work now. So that it means all of your save games, all of your existing modules, all of your hack packs, everything should work. So give it a shot, see what happens. If it breaks, let us know, because that's something that we should fix. And yeah, it should work.
Yeah, everything should continue to function. If it doesn't, it's a bug. Here's a question. Why is there not any advertisement on NWN? A nice advertisement to bring all old and new players to the game, to make it big and as popular as it once was. I think fundamentally because we found that advertising is horribly expensive today, and often it doesn't quite pay off. We've, as a company, we really focus our promotional efforts more on public relations and working with the press, as opposed to spending on advertising and marketing. So I don't see us ever running big ads, because
we promote, like we do marketing, we do promotions, that sort of thing, but pure just advertisements isn't something that we typically do, for the reasons that Trent said. Like, we don't get a lot of value out of them on our end, and the Super Bowl ad that we did was incredibly expensive, and I don't think it even aired in the end.
No.
So, big waste of money.
We spent tons of money making a Super Bowl ad, and then we couldn't afford the airtime.
And it was crazy that we took all that time to make a CG, lifelike version of Saravok, just ripping people apart with his giant.
I thought he was
sword.
animatronic.
Well, parts of it were, because some of the shots were all practical effects. So the part where that guy's face partially explodes, that was a practical effect. But then the scene afterwards where he's being thrown off of the tower, that was CG. And then when he lands, it was practical again.
I think we just should have found some place in the world where jurisdiction is loose, and we'll just film the whole thing live action and let everybody go for it. Here, dude, here's a real sword. Go and chop that guy up.
And, you know, in retrospect, we should have kept the files afterwards instead of just deleting them.
Yeah.
So, dumb, you know? We didn't think ahead.
Here's a question. Did you guys play any persistent world servers?
Oh, yeah,
if so,
I did.
What was your favorite and why?
Now, in my defense, this was 13 years ago, so I don't remember the names of the servers that I played on.
Yep.
But I can't remember any specifics, but I remember there was a few that I stayed on for quite some time, and it was just sort of a generic D&D thing that the admins would just add new stuff to every other week. Like, hey, we added a vampire dungeon, or we added a cool celestial palace or something. And it was a lot of fun. It had a pretty consistent server population. There were always about 30 or so people online. We did a lot of tournaments. Every now and then, the DMs would come online, and we'd have this great, huge adventure where they'd teleport everybody on the server to the bottom of a dungeon by accident, and then pretend that it was an intentional thing, and we all had to fight our way out. It was a lot of fun.
I actually didn't play on any consistent, persistent servers. Right after Neverwinter went out the door, I took 3 months of sabbatical off because I actually hadn't taken holidays at the company for 5 years. Actually, 7 because I worked for 2 years before starting Neverwinter. So after 7 years of no holidays, I had a critical amount of holidays built up, and it was use them or lose them. So I used them, and I was in a dark place. I couldn't really stand computers at that point, so I just took apart my race car and rebuilt it for 3 months. And then after that, I went to Europe and did a Neverwinter Nights press tour. And when I came back, I jumped on a couple persistent worlds periodically, but I mostly played anonymous, and I think I named my character Bleeble Bloops. So if there was a character named Bleeble Bloops out there, that was probably me. Possibly me. Somebody else could have come up with that name, but I thought it was pretty unique.
Question for the audience: will the Steam Workshop work seamlessly with overrides? It should, yeah. So if you're running into any issues right now, we're going to try and fix those up.
If you're running into problems, it's a bug. Tell us, we'll help fix it.
The ideal path should always be go to the workshop. Hey, that looks neat. Subscribe. Load up Neverwinter, and there it is, and off you go.
The question is, what priority is being given to fixing the popping and hissing music in videos? Windows 10. Same question for the Linux full screen bug.
I was actually working on that with Andrew yesterday. We were trying to track down a repro case.
So the answer is they're actually A-level bugs right now, and we are looking at trying to fix them before we go live. And if we do not, we will try to fix them for a patch.
And if we don't fix it, you can send me hate mail and imagine yourself punching me in the gut.
Yep. Here's a question about the Infinity Engine stuff. Is it possible to add an option to turn on and off fast mode? So basically jack the frame rate.
So that's something that we can look into for 2.6, but
it blows up multiplayer big time.
It won't work in multiplayer, which is fair. I mean, Pillars doesn't have multiplayer, so it's not something they need to worry about. It's not a guarantee that we'll be able to do it. It could break certain things.
It occasionally breaks some things, yes.
So we'll look into it, but it won't be part of 2.5. This would be a 2.6 thing to look into.
My God, 2.6.
Shh, don't tell Cam.
Yeah, you said the words. You said the words that should not be spoken.
2.6. I'm just saying.
Never say words.
I'm just saying a bunch of numbers.
Question for y'all. How do you maintain such cross-development support with such a small staff? I assume you have some wrapper that allows updates to work across all platforms. So we use SDL as kind of a platform to abstract away a lot of the platform differences.
That is true, yeah.
But it doesn't get all of them. So the answer is there's some if-defs in there.
Very carefully. No, it's a lot of work.
It's definitely a challenge, and I think we do it with a small staff because we've got really good staff.
You might wonder, hey, why does it take months and months to get 2.5 out the door? Because we have such a small staff, and we're working on 5 Skyrim-sized games at a time. So it's a challenge.
It definitely, there's some work involved. Yeah. Is it theoretically, here's a question, is it theoretically possible that if you linked 2 areas together, the engine could generate a low-LOD version of the area being linked? Would be good for outside areas to create illusions of a large open world. No, this is probably not possible because linking the 2 together, they're separate areas. One is in memory, one is not in memory. At least the graphics are. So the way the game works is when you run a server, it has all the areas in memory, but it's only the walk mesh and it's only running the AI. It has nothing to do with the visual mesh. Whereas on the client side, when you load into a new area, it has to load all the visual mesh. So the client side has all the art. And the reason we created the whole system the way it is, with the idea of tile sets are actually a method of us containerizing the texture sets. So a tile set is really a texture family. And if you go from one texture family to another, it's pretty much a dump everything that's in memory, reload all new stuff. So architecturally, that would be bad because you're loading in essentially another full area's worth, a full set worth of new art assets.
It's actually way worse than that. You would be loading theoretically up to 8 additional areas worth of assets, because if it were one area surrounded by 8 locations, so your memory requirements just went up 8x.
Yeah, ultimately what you're kind of proposing there is almost like an MMO shard kind of model where you've got servers running, which are, and yeah, we don't want to go there.
So like you could do hacky things like, let's just load in the tiles but not the texture data and have it look like a weird shadowy thing. But then is that accomplishing what you want? No, not really. Yeah. I think what you're after is I want like a continuous field of vision. That I
want an endless world that I can walk through. And yeah, we can't really make Neverwinter do that.
I think the smarter way to design something like that would be change the level format so that there's the active area and then an area outside that is inactive that you can then decorate as you see fit. But again, that's a pretty major change to the functionality of the engine. Question for the audience: why not just write all games in Java?
Because Java's bad.
Java's not bad.
Java is horrible.
Java is not horrible. Java is...
So there's Java and there's JavaScript.
Do you want something done right, or do you want it done quickly?
JavaScript, I think, is quite good. Java is...
There's nothing wrong with Java. So, okay, it's very easy to do bad things in Java. That is entirely true.
I think it's the other side. I think it's almost impossible to do performant things in Java. You're relying on so much code that other people wrote that's basically a black box. You can't jump in and you can't make things fast. What makes video games work is not what you do, it's what you don't do. So the way to make an engine fast is to do less. Just do less. Oh, I'm not going to render anything that's behind me. Right there, 3/4 of the world you don't have to render. I'm not going to render anything that's above me or below me because I'm looking ahead. Boom, we just got rid of another big portion. Video games are all about optimizing and simplifying things down. So it's really... I don't see Java as being able to let you get close enough to the metal to make the things that you need to make fast. So
but if you disagree, write a dissertation as to why you think Java is the best language and submit it by March 28th for your chance to win a Neverwinter Nights t-shirt. Should we play some Neverwinter Nights?
You should play some Neverwinter Nights. There's another question here. What will the patch schedule be like after Neverwinter EE goes live? We're looking at basically going to a monthly patch schedule. We don't want to interrupt things frequently.
But there's the dev branch, though. So the dev branch is going to get updated maybe every other day.
We'll be running the dev branch. There's no guarantees you can jump into the dev branch and it won't explode in your face.
It could be every week.
Spray you with flaming metal.
But the dev branch will be live, hot code, that you will get to see the bleeding edge of what we're working on.
Exactly. And in some cases, it will be on fire, and there will be people running around screaming, going, "Oh my God, I'm on fire!"
So it'll be entirely possible for a server runner to have like a dev branch server, but they're just going to be updating it pretty frequently.
Yeah, you're like, "Oh, it's a smoking pile today. I should not have adopted that smoking pile." So Dan's giving us the magic, "It's time to give somebody a t-shirt, guys," signal, and the t-shirt goes to Mathias
and Corlaz from Siege of Dragonspear should get together and have some fun. I feel like they'd have a lot in common.
What do you guys think of virtual consoles like Pico 8?
I think it's fun. I mean, you're never going to see like some deep experience that you can play for months and months, but I think as a little toy, they're a lot of fun.
I think Lua is really cool. Yeah. Like Lua, from a scripting language standpoint, it's probably one of the most performant scripting languages out there. So I like Lua.
I like a lot of the little kind of simplified roguelikes that you find in the Pico 8. A lot of people like to make little simple dungeon crawlers.
Here's a question. Could Beamdog provide tutorials for custom content creation, i.e. new character models, or would you need to kill us after sharing that info?
So new character models in IE is kind of a giant pain in the butt.
I'm wondering if it's IE, if they're talking about IE being Infinity Engine, or IE, an example, new character models. So if it's for Neverwinter, we're ultimately going to make it easier for people to get stuff in. We'll probably even share a couple default models that just auto export, and you can just start modding off of them. But on the IE side, the Infinity Engine, there's
we did have one tool that we built for Siege, as we actually added a brand new creature in Siege, the Neophalid.
And the tool was called the Unfantabulator.
Yeah. So it was actually a rig for Unity, I think, where it would load up the model, do its camera orbit, snap the pictures, move to the next frame of the animation, do the orbit, and then it would spit it out in the correct format that you needed. So if there are people desperately interested in adding new creatures to the Infinity Engine, we could look at seeing if we could dust that rig off and just hand it over to you guys. But adding new creatures to IE, it sucks so much, man. It's the worst.
IE is pain. Like that's why I called the tool the Unfantabulator. It is unfun.
But right, I want to get into some Neverwinter Nights because someone sent me a very special module.
Somebody sent you a module. Somebody came through with the Kill Phil in a module challenge.
They sent me this hat, and I got a shirt with a dog on it. Like, I feel so loved.
You are blessed.
Yes. All right, so let's switch over to my
Have I ever told you I hate the word blessed? I just hate it.
This
it's module, so wrong. Nobody's blessed.
This module is called Phil's Phil. And,
Phil's Phil.
I believe it was part of the series of modules that will be coming in, dedicated to killing me in various interesting ways.
Yeah. So I think going forward, I would like people to do a name check. If character name equals Phil.
Let's give myself a subrace here.
What is your subrace?
Dilettante.
You're a dilettante.
What portrait should I pick?
That is a curious word.
This guy kind of looks like me. What about this guy? Oh, I've got the perfect portrait to pick. This guy.
Oh, Phil has put in a custom portrait with a furry hat. How wonderful that Phil has a furry hat.
How on brand for me.
You are on brand, Phil. Phil will always wear a fuzzy hat. Question here while you're making your character. I know someone mentioned it last stream is a possibility sometime down the road that Neverwinter Nights will be available on Android devices. At this point, we've got nothing to comment on, but that's all I can say.
Having discussions about that recently.
When can you increase the area size to say 48 by 48 so we can have more room for creating an inactive border?
Actually, that's a good one. We should increase the tile size.
Right now, we're just trying to get Neverwinter stable, happy, shippable. Once we get that done, we can start experimenting again.
So essentially, there's a few dials we can turn, like player limits on servers?
So we go and we play on stuff, and then we firm it down and we get it to a shippable state.
And then we can start turning
creating bigger areas is one of those things where we definitely got to firm it up.
Neverwinter has a bunch of numbers. We can change those numbers. I'm really excited about that 64 player limit being potentially changed.
Well, the other thing is the Neverwinter Nights code base is still a 32-bit code base. So we're going to try and make it into a 64-bit compatible code base because that's one of the big challenges going forward. So we'll be working on that, and I think that will make a lot of things easier in terms of unlocking hard codes and simplifying things.
Need more sweaters in the game.
Neverwinter Nights in Neverwinter Nights 1991 in Neverwinter Nights EE Collector's Edition is possible.
That would be cool.
Yeah?
That would be fun. The old original Neverwinter Nights. Didn't you have to pay by the hour to play that?
Yeah, that was like...
That's crazy.
Was that CompuServe?
I think maybe.
No, it was
AOL.
AOL, yeah.
Before AOL had declined to its late 90s position.
Question here. In terms of simplified code and doing less, how many times have you looked at the code for the original Doom and just wept? Little known fact, partner in Beamdog, Cameron Topher, was the first human on the planet to get the Doom code up and running on an iPhone. If you go and you look on YouTube, there will be videos of it from way back in the day. Cam's a big Doom fan. We've both met John a couple times, and Cam's a big fan. He loves the code. He loves it. And when he looks at all the code in everything we've worked on, he dies a little inside.
Hey, it's nighttime.
Every time he dies. Can we get more IE content, please? We'll gladly throw money at you for it.
Sure, okay.
Okay, so throw the money first, and then we'll release your IE content from the back of the car once we get the money. it's hard to create IE content. It's really a challenge.
It's hard, and it's insanely expensive, and yeah, it's a challenge.
Yeah, Siege of Dragonspear cost us a lot of money to make, and it's really tough.
And it's frustrating because it's like you're spending all this money, and you also have to intentionally downgrade certain things to make it fit with the rest of the game, and it's like,
it's a real challenge. At this time, we have no new IE content to announce
or discuss.
Yep. Will the game be released on GOG? I'm assuming you're talking about Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition. Yes, we will figure out a way to get it on GOG.
Okay, so we have loaded up the module called Phil's Phil. And my character, Nicho Gailey, is now speaking for Professor von Hindenburg.
So, Nacho von Libre?
Yes.
That's you?
Greetings, traveler. Would you be interested in making some quick and easy coin and also furthering the war effort through aiding my research?
You mentioned coin. What do I have to do?
I say, Phil, that is a very epic voice you
It's
have.
easy. Just stand there and gauge the effect of my cows. Simple. I'll pay you 1,000 gold pieces.
Cows? What? This sounds like garbage. Goodbye. Or, very well then, let's get this over with. Should we check out this guy's cows?
I think you totally got to check out the cows, dude.
Very well.
Let me
Excellent. I'll teleport you in. Are you ready?
Ta-da. All right, here we go. This is going to be a dungeon adventure. I'm going to kick some... gee.
you are... Phil is dead. And apparently there are cows shooting fireballs from their back ends at the place where Phil once stood. And right now, Phil is in an endless stream of fireballs.
I always knew this was going to be how I died. Just getting shit on by 8 cows.
Yep. Fiery shitballs, Batman. That is a pretty bad way to go. Question here. Can the tool set be changed so when we change area size, we choose the direction of the expansion or shrinkage without having to rotate the area first? I'm going to say this one should probably go to discussion and then push it through the Trello side, because that way we can figure out exactly what people are after and what might be the right way to chase it down.
This is kind of like in a paint program, expanding your canvas and choosing the origin point. So it's doable, but again, it's just going to be a thing on our endless list of cool features.
Well, it's going to come down to how is it represented internally, and can you actually make sense of how to extend it out without exploding stuff?
I got to say, there are better ways to make 1,000 gold pieces.
Yep. Here's a question. Will Neverwinter EE make full use of all CPU cores? Probably not. It probably will never hammer all CPU cores. So
well, what if you had a bunch of CPU cores that were all individually insanely slow?
Even then, I mean, the thing you'll see with any kind of multiprocessor programming, unless you have a ton of discrete tasks which can all be performed in parallel without a lot of interconnection, you're never going to saturate multiple cores. Best case, usually there's a prime core that's running hard on stuff, and there's a couple other cores that are doing essentially enabling work, but it's never going to dominate. Like if you've got 8 physical cores and 8 virtual cores, so 16 core, it's probably going to hit 3 of them pretty hard, and it'll idle away on maybe a couple more.
Question from the audience: any plans on updating old armor appearances or adding new ones anytime soon? Yeah, so this kind of ties into what we were talking about earlier with Beamdog pushing up new HD content into the workshop. So if you saw in our previous streams, we had a new version of Erebeth, and we had a new male human player character with upgraded armor.
Yep.
And these are kind of previews of what we're going to be pushing into the workshop that you can optionally add into your game.
And this is kind of what we're looking at in terms of for doing our new content that we're going to be doing. This is what we're going to be basing it off of.
Can you do Neverwinter Nights 1991 Enhanced Edition? I mean, I'd love to, but all those gold box games are kind of tied up pretty tight right now.
Pretty tight.
Yeah.
What you're saying is you're moving over to BG3.
We are not working on Baldur's Gate 3.
That is
absolutely true. Beamdog is not working on Baldur's Gate 3.
Yep. Here's a question. What is your office culture like? Is there fun events often? Free food?
This actually ties into the next question, which was, have you played the Gloomhaven board game? And the answer is we actually have a office game of that scheduled for next week.
I believe, yes. It's on the calendar.
Yeah. So, yeah, we do fun stuff. We do lunch and learns every other week where we bring in lunch for everybody and somebody shows off a cool thing that they do. Just recently was Pie Day, and we had a bunch of pies come in. Dan got pies for everybody. We had some pie.
Yep.
International Women's Day was the other day, so we had a bunch of cake, and it was a good time. Everybody goes for lunch together every day. We do coffee walks together. I think it's a pretty friendly place around here.
Yeah, and usually about once a month I do. I take people to the gym, and I show them a state-of-the-art 1980s heavyweight workout in the way that Arnold showed me how to do.
Let me tell you something hilarious that you want to see at least once in your life. After he's done taking them to the gym, seeing them all straggle out of the gym in a line and wander back to the office because it's within walking distance. There's people crippled, walking, unable to keep going because he made them do so many squats.
The fun is 2 days later when they're trying to make it up the back staircase and you're just watching the agony. And I can laugh at that because I am also in agony at that moment.
We have a fitness question. Just want to say that you guys are incredible. Revamping these games is something I could have never dreamed of. Question, how does one get so swole like Phil? So, Trent, I'm going to give you some advice here. I think you need to slim down.
Yeah.
You're getting a little too muscular. The key is to develop a mental disease where you spend 8 hours a day working on games, and then you go home and spend an additional 8 hours sitting at the computer working on other games. That way your muscles will gracefully wither away at a very even rate, and you get this sort of trim figure that just screams lack of upper body strength.
See, once upon a time when I was at BioWare, I had this idea that, you know what, I'm going to work on games by day and I'm going to work on games by night. And I'm going to do things that interest me. So I actually started writing my own graphics engine. And what was great was I learned a lot of things. What was horrible is it's so goddamn hard to do things on your own. And ultimately, I came to the decision, you know what? I'm going to roll the best things I've got into BioWare because I'm going to be able to do them so much better than I could do them myself. So I disagree with your 8 hour strategy.
See, for me, though, when I make games on my own, it's great because I don't have to worry about what everyone else thinks. I don't have to worry about what's popular in the market. I don't have to worry about what people find interesting. It's purely a game for me, and so I can make it as terrible as I want.
So
or as great. Or as great.
So could I. Question. Did they mention Arcanum? No.
We get asked every damn stream about Arcanum.
Can you guys do Arcanum?
Guys, I want to do Arcanum. It's a cool game. I would love to do that. But it's hard to get rights to these games.
We haven't put a business case together for it.
How about Fallout 1 or 2? Another question we get asked every time.
We talked with the Bethesda guys about that, and ultimately we just couldn't put a deal together. Because Cam's a huge Fallout fan, Fallout 1 and 2. He was really, really butthurt at Fallout 4 and how they played kind of fast and loose with the lore. It really upset him greatly. I was like, dude,
Brotherhood
Fallout
of Steel
4
is
is
all
great.
sunshine and roses. I see how it is.
Yep. So question here, Trent. Joining Forged in Fire soon? No. I haven't. I'm a Canadian. I think the show mainly casts Americans.
They stop you at the border when you show up with a bunch of knives, believe me.
At some point, maybe I could do that. I think it'd be fun. I think video games and blacksmithing, there's
got to be some sort of crossover.
There's in some ways zero crossover, and in some ways a lot of crossover.
I feel like you could make a pretty cool like Guitar Hero style game out of like forging and creating things. Where it's like you got to hit the hammer at the right time.
There's a VR game like that.
Really?
Yeah, you actually have to hit in the precise right spot to make your knife. And
that sounds
kind
of cool.
No, actually, it sounds really, really mundane because.
Did you not play Job Simulator in VR where it takes something as mundane as working at 7-Eleven and turns it into an incredible life-changing experience that I've already forgotten about?
No, I have not. T-shirt to Lizmoth. Patow.
That's out of nowhere. You're just firing from the hip. There's a shirt, buddy.
Yeah.
Lizmoth.
Well done.
Limesmoth? Limesmoth.
Here's a question. If we update the Beamdog client to the current patch, does the Steam client still work as the previous patch? I want to update to play with the toolset, but would like access to the previous patch until the persistent world I play on updates to current patch.
Yep.
So you can do this in Beamdog. You can also kind of select which version you want to run.
Yeah. So on Steam and Beamdog, they're separate installs. The only thing that they share is your My Documents directory. So they'll share saves and any mods or whatever you have in your override folder. But the actual game installs are in two separate folders. So you can update on Beamdog or Steam and leave the other one alone, and that'll be on the previous version for you.
Yep.
And as well, When we do push out development branch updates on Steam, you'll always be able to downgrade to whatever the current main patch level is.
Yep.
And then you can switch back and forth as you see fit.
Yeah. But how?
So, I believe our stream is wrapping up now. We're coming in at 11:59 here, and the D&D Beyond stream is starting in mere seconds after we finish ours up.
Mere seconds.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for joining us this week. Next week, we're going to be doing yet another stream where we talk about all the amazing things that are happening in the world of Neverwinter Nights.
But next week, I will not be here. I'm actually going to be attending GDC.
So you'll have to put up with me and my problems as we talk about Neverwinter Nights, the Infinity Engine, and all things Beamdog.
It's always got to be about you, Phil.
It's always got about me and the dating simulator that we are desperately trying to get approved by Wizards of the Coast. Folks, it's hard, you know. Some of the scenes are too graphic, some aren't graphic enough, so we'll see what we can do. But the dating sim, it's happening, guys. It's going to happen. He doesn't believe me. How much do you get? Let's put some money down on this. You want to bet $20? Yeah? No? All right. All right, folks, thanks for joining us. We will see you later. Enjoy D&D Beyond, and catch us next Friday.
Thank you.